Sup everyone! Today we're looking at one of my most anticipated releases of the year, the Figma Gotoh Hitori from Bocchi The Rock. The anime is one of my top favorites of all time, and so is Hitori, or Bocchi as her friends call her. So needless to say, I am beyond excited for this figure, and though it is not perfect, I'm more than happy with what we got. So with that said, let's get to the review. Bocchi comes in a standard, relatively small Figma packaging in a nice pink and black color scheme. You can see some of her very expressive faces through the plastic window, which I really appreciate. Over on the right side, we can see her in her mango kamen form. Here at the back, we got some good promo shots of the figure. And on the left side is me after emptying my wallet for this figure. And both the top and bottom has Bocchi playing her guitar. Now let's go ahead and free her from the cardboard. Now, you can see all the really cool faces they included as well as her guitar a lot better. And man, I am really liking what I'm seeing so far. Taped to the back are the other accessories sealed in another plastic bag. Of course, we got the Figma sandwich bag. Here's the manual, the standard Figma action base, her spare hands, spare wrist joint, and the guitar strap. Side note, the plastic cover on her shoulders got really stuck when I just tried to pull them off. They got really wedged inside the ball joints, so I recommend just popping off the shoulders and slipping it off. Unfortunately, my copy came with a bit of an issue. Kind of a trend lately, to be honest. The fabric of the soft goods skirt is fraying. You can see quite a lot have really unraveled over here. In order to try and remedy this, I'm gonna take off her skirt for a bit. I don't really know how else to fix this, so I'll just snip it off for now and hope for the best. Here we go, trimmed out the loose thread. Putting it back is pretty simple, just slide it back on her legs and plug the torso back in. Of course, we can't forget her other accessory that's stuffed in the back of the box. It does say on one of the flaps that the cardboard cutout is in there, so let's just take it out real quick. As you can see, it's unfolded and needs some assembly and some glue or double-sided tape, as the manual suggests. As you can see, some flaps have Norichiro written on them. That means you fold these parts over and add the glue or tape in these parts. Once fully assembled, the box looks like this. The opening is at the bottom here. And now, with that assembled, Bocchi can complete her transformation into Mango Kamen. For her guitar strap, there's holes on both ends of it. You can just gently push the holes onto the pegs, but be careful not to tear the material. Same on the other side. And there, her guitar now has the straps on. With everything all assembled, it's time we get into the review proper. Right out of the box, the lead guitarist of Kesoko Band looks amazing. This figure really captures her look when she first debuted in her first live show. Of course, there's an opening flap to see what's inside, and man, I'm really glad they included the mango box for this figure. Anyways, in order to proceed with the rest of the review, I'm gonna have to take her box away from her, so I'll go ahead and do that. Now here we have Gotoh Hitori in all her glory. The sculpting and painting is amazing. I can't really see any paint defects on mine for one, so I'm really happy about that. This figure really embodies Bocchi's appearance from the anime, and it just fills me with so much joy to finally have this figure in front of me right now. There are a few issues that I'll mention later, but so far, I am having a lot of fun playing around with her and getting her into some poses. The soft goods skirt really helps free up her lower body range, and it just looks really good in general. And that's about it for the aesthetics. Let's move on to our accessories, mostly consisting of faceplates, which I really appreciate. Bocchi comes with a moderate spread of accessories. I won't cover the stand as much since it's the standard Figma stand, every release has one. So let's move on to the main accessories. First, we have her Yamaha Pacifica that she got at the end of Season 1. The paintwork and sculpting is amazing, but it does slightly bother me that it doesn't have any strings. I get that the scale is really small, but 30 minutes production is able to put strings on their model kit guitars, so why couldn't they? Anyways, it still looks good and I'm overall satisfied with what we do have here. Next, we have her mango box from Starry's inventory. The details are printed cleanly and the materials feel sturdy enough for moderate play. But during storage, it will be best to have some sort of moisture absorbent material like silica gel packets, in case you live in a humid climate like mine. Now for the bread and butter of this figure, the faces. By default, we have her blank stare, a smiling face, melting face I can't quite describe, light exercise face, and a Picasso face. She does come with an extra hairpiece. It's slightly less detailed than the default one. I guess it's slightly more cartoonish to fit with the more exaggerated faces, but you can use the default hairpiece on the other 3 faces if you want. For the hands, we have closed but not quite fist hands, open hands, grabby hands, left F-chord hand, and a right guitar picking hand. Lastly, we do have the alternate lower jacket piece for extreme forward bends. The accessories she comes with gives you a lot of options to play with. For Bocchi, that's really important for her figure. The faces they chose are all expressive and full of character, and the mango box was a really good addition. And in case you were wondering, she can use the 30 minutes production Gibson Les Paul custom from that Bocchi model kit. Now for her articulation. Head moves down that far and goes up that far, side to side, forwards movement, segmented neck helps with movement a fair bit, head can rotate a bit but limited by her hair, arm goes up that far, almost 360 but the sculpt is in the way, toe bicep swivel, arm bends above 90 degrees, wrist articulation limited by her cuffs but she does have up and down in rotation. With the default torso piece, she has a little bit of crunch but not a lot of arcing back. Pretty wide side to side hip rotation, albeit slightly loose. Forward kick, back. With the alternate lower jacket piece, her kick and crunch are even more insane. Knees bend above 90 degrees. Up and down in a toe bend. The articulation, while coming with some caveats, is pretty good. Unfortunately, some of the limitations affects guitar poses, like the lack of a bicep swivel and the design of the shoulders limiting some angles. But what she does come with is more than enough for most poses. Now for some size comparisons. Gotoh Hitori is a bit over 5.5 inches, which is honestly taller than I expected. Here she is next to a smaller Figma, the Figma Sunao Kamishiroko, Figma Samurai from Neko's Designs, the Plamatea C or 13, also from Neko's Designs, and the 30-minute production's Gotoh Hitori, which honestly is smaller than the Figma. Kinda surprised about that. Usually the model kits are way larger than the action figure counterparts in this relative scale. Now it's about time to wrap up this review with my final thoughts. Overall, as a Bocchi fan, I am really happy with this figure. The accessory spread is great, posability is mostly amazing, and the overall look is just straight out of the anime. With that said, this figure is not without its problems, like I mentioned before. For one, in my copy, the head with the hair sculpt weighs down the head joint just a bit, so it's a bit tricky to make her look down sometimes. Now, while this shoulder design does prevent unsightly ball joint shoulders like with old releases, it does come with a drawback that it's a lot more limiting, especially with the lack of bicep swivel. Getting her hand into a strumming pose is a challenge as you would most likely be pushing the joints at the edge of their range, which is a bit frightening if I'm gonna be honest. Also, not entirely a downside but more of a nitpick for this figure is that Figma is still keeping double jointed knees a premium feature that is hard to come by. I'm not entirely sure what the standards are for a Figma to have a double jointed knees. At first I thought it was to retain sculpt for idle standing poses, but they gave Figma Kayoko double jointed knees, so what gives? But I wouldn't say these nitpicks of mine takes away from the figure we do get here. It's still a pretty amazing figure, especially for Bocchi The Rock fans. Here's hoping they do the whole band, as much as it would really hurt my wallet. Overall, I'd give this figure a solid 8 out of 10, and I personally highly recommend getting her, if you're a fan of her design or her character. Figmas are rising in prices with their new releases, so it's hard to recommend getting characters you're not already invested in. Since I pre-ordered directly from Amayami, I got Bocchi for MSRP, but I still feel this thing in my wallet. If you're getting her in the aftermarket, her prices are probably gonna be a lot higher for a while. As for comparisons with the boss mod figure, I can't really tell you since I don't have it and the model kit wouldn't really be a fair comparison. It's technically in a different hobby altogether with the effort it requires to look screen accurate and the general playability it has. Anyways, this figure is still pretty amazing, and I really recommend that you do get it if you like the character. But thank you all for making it this far, and I hope you found this review helpful. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next review. See ya!